Celtic have been handed a huge financial blow after a new revelation. We will go over exactly what this is in today's video, whilst of course going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
Kieran Maguire has made it crystal clear that UEFA's financial rules were nowhere near a restriction for Celtic this summer, despite club statements that hinted at European regulations playing a role in curbing spending. The financial expert told Seltzer here that Celtic could have spent significantly more without brushing up against any UEFA limits. Celtic could have an overall spend of an extra 50 to 60 million pounds this season, and they still would have easily been within the UEFA limits, Maguire said. They made a profit of 45, even if they said the acceptable level of loss is 15 to 20. That's fine from a UEFA point of view. Those figures show just how strong a position the club is in. While the board has suggested prudence, the truth is that Celtic had every opportunity to go big in the market if they had chosen to. UEFA's cost control rules allow clubs to spend up to 70% of their revenue on wages and also permit losses of up to 60 million euros over a 3-year cycle. Celtic's actual spend remains conservative and their profits consistent. Maguire also pointed out the need to separate spending from success, acknowledging that splashing out doesn't always guarantee results. So the ability to spend is certainly there. Now, how well that money could have been spent is a separate issue, and the history of football is littered with clubs who have felt that spending big is the same as spending successfully. So I think you have to decouple quality and quantity when it comes to spending money. But Celtic could have quite happily gone all in on a substantial investment in talent. Given the club's track record of developing and selling talent at a profit, Maguire sees no reason why a bold transfer window couldn't have both strengthened the team and maintained financial sustainability. They've been very successful at then moving that talent onto other markets as well and generating profits from it. So there's no reason why they couldn't have made that decision over the course of the summer. In short, the choice not to invest wasn't forced by UEFA, it was a deliberate move by the board, and that's something many supporters are continuing to question as Celtic's struggles play out on the pitch. Now for the main story, as Luis Palma is starting to find his feet again in Poland, and with it, speculation is growing over whether Lech Poznan will make his loan move permanent sooner rather than later. The Honduran winger added another goal and assist in European action this week, producing a lively performance against Rapid Vienna in the Conference League. That takes his goal and assist total to 8 in his last 10 appearances for club and country, despite currently serving a 2-match league suspension for a reckless challenge that left an opponent with a broken leg. Palma apologised publicly after the incident, and while his domestic campaign is on pause, he's continued to impress on the European stage. Lech Poznan have an option to buy built into the loan agreement, and there's growing talk that they plan to use it. Initial reports suggested the clause was around 4.5 million euros, but more recent claims out of Poland indicate it may actually be slightly less than that, though no exact figure has been confirmed. The Polish club appear confident they can strike a deal, and there's even talk they may try to negotiate the figure down further before triggering the option. Palma's recent form only strengthens their hand, and unless Celtic see a path back into the first team for the winger, there's every chance Lech move to make the transfer permanent. In other news, Celtic are yet to fully get performing this season. Brendan Rodgers says Celtic are still dealing with the consequences of a summer transfer window, which saw the squad get weaker rather than stronger. On top of that, Dyson Maeda has made it public that he wanted to leave Celtic, leaving Rodgers with one of his star players openly unsettled. Whilst the Celts have shown good signs at points this season, a poor Europa League defeat to Braga was a clear sign that things are not where they should be. And for one former Celtic midfielder, the squad is underperforming to such a degree that only 3 players are worthy of positive marks. Rodgers is usually credited for improving players, but numerous members of his current squad are currently off their game. After the Celts built up a reliable element of consistency last season, things are looking some way off that at the moment. Peter Grant, speaking on the Go Radio football show, has said that just 3 players are worthy of mention for positive performances so far this season. He said, "If I said now which players have been performing above a 7, you'd find it very difficult. The only one, and he's got a lot of criticism, I'd say Scales, and that is it. And I'm just talking on his defending, I'm not talking about his distribution. Tunekti, yes, but he's only come in for the last few games. Nygren, I'll give him that because he's scored a few goals. But after that, you're saying that there's a lot of people who've dropped below the standards. And playing constantly and winning constantly, you're needing guys to be on 7 or 8 near enough week in, week out, which Celtic boys have been for a long time. At this moment in time, I'm finding it hard to push that. Tunekti in the last few weeks, Nygren and Scales is probably it. Celtic captain Callum McGregor has come in for criticism so far this season. This has been a rarity over the last 5 years. Fellow squad leader Kasper Schmeichel made a costly error against Braga, putting his form under scrutiny. Cameron Carter-Vickers and Rio Hatate are two further examples of players fans have come to expect more from. The Maeda situation is an obvious reason for his lack of form. Will the Celts' new signings step up, or will their key players rediscover their form from last season? Celtic needs some inspiration from somewhere. In other news, Celtic are still facing the consequences of their summer transfer window. They are arguably still facing the consequences of several. Since losing Kyogo Furuhashi in January, Brendan Rodgers still hasn't been given a replacement. Jota is injured until the new year, and Rodgers also saw Nicholas Kuhn and Adam Ider depart in the summer without forthcoming replacements. The window was the final nail in the coffin for many fans' patience with the board, and Celtic supporter protests have taken place at several matches. This isn't to say that the Celts haven't signed anyone in the window, far from it, but for one radio pundit, there is one new signing who sums it all up. The Celts had a rough week after a goalless draw with Hibernian was followed up with a dismal 2-0 Europa League defeat to Braga. Celtic didn't play well in the game, but one thing they can't be blamed for was an inexplicable decision by the officials to disallow Kelechi Iheanacho's equaliser. Speaking about the match and the squad in general, Hugh Keevins was blunt about one man, despite saying he has become the side's only hope. He said, "Last night was about more than a dodgy fantasy VAR involvement. Last night was symptomatic of a Celtic team with back-to-back games with no goals for the 5th game this season. Twice against Kairat Almaty, Rangers, Hibs and Braga. 5 games that Celtic did not score in. Iheanacho's the best bet after all else was lost, and Celtic got someone who wasn't wanted by Seville, who ripped up his contract. And that summed up their transfer window. Regardless of the circumstances in which Iheanacho was signed, he has already shown why Celtic are better off with than without him. Along with Iheanacho, Benjamin Nygren and Sebastian Tunekti have contributed plenty of minutes for the Celts already."
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.